Honorable colleagues, आप
तर्जुमा लगा लीजिए ना हमारे साहब।
कोशिश करूंगा बीच
वो
में मिक्स कर दूं।
स्पीकर है, इंटरप्रिटेशन आ रही है ना, आप उससे लगा लीजिए, हेडफोन्स जो हैं। जी जी
नहीं जज्बात कोई नहीं रहेंगे, डोंट वरी। थैंक यू सर। Especially the expressions which were given by our
मिनिस्टर साहब, राजा साहब, एक मिनट, राजा
Bluchistan.
साहब प्लीज राजा साहब, आपने डिस्कशंस करनी है तो बाहर चलिए, लॉबी में चलिए। थैंक यू।
I had noted each and every point which was given by the colleagues, particularly by Mr. Madhukhel, Senator Malik Saab, Professor Khurshid Saab, Sajjad Saab, and Hisab Dar Saab. One thing which is very clear now, that there is a realization that there is issue, there are issues, and we need to do something for that to satisfy our brothers from Balochistan as the grievances are growing day by day. And जैसे मैंने पहले भी कहा था कि हमारे वो नाराज बलोची भाई, पख्तून भाई जिनका तल्लक बलोचिस्तान से है, उनके सारे मामलात की सही तरीके से छानबीन भी की जाए और जो गवर्नमेंट को करना चाहिए वो होना चाहिए। इसी के जिम्न में मैं थोड़ी सी बैकग्राउंड अर्ज करूंगा और जो भी मैं फैक्ट्स यहां पे आपको अर्ज कर रहा हूं, इट इज नथिंग बट ट्रूथ एंड फैक्ट। और जो सेंटेंस बोलूंगा उसके रेफरेंस में अगर किसी को कोई डॉक्यूमेंट्री एविडेंस की जरूरत होगी, आई विल ऑल्सो प्रोड्यूस। मिस्टर चेयरमैन, some of the briefing will be opened. I'll be very open to talk on that. But there are certain aspects of my briefing I request to your honor and also request to my colleagues that I would like to request that let there be 2 senators from each party, and I would like to give them some of the information in camera. This is absolutely necessary because when I'll be giving some questions, some answers, and some facts, the people will have some doubts in their mind and they need to be satisfied, obviously not in the open house, but in the background when we meet together. Mr. Chairman, let me give you the efforts which were undertaken by our government, starting with the coalition and with the passage of time, whatever the steps were taken under the instructions of the President of Pakistan, Prime Minister of Pakistan, and other coalition leaders. And time and again, we had been interacting with our allies and as well as the leadership in Balochistan. First of all, we contacted Mr. Mangal. I personally went and followed by another visit with the Home Minister, Sindh, and I gave him the offer, Mr. Mangal, you're a free man, you can go, we will tackle the issues later. He said, Mr. Rehman, I cannot do it unless you release my workers, because I will step out of the hospital. He was, in fact, detained in the hospital, and he gave me the list. And in the next few weeks, not only Mr. Mangal was released, but all his workers were released. And I thank to the cooperation extended by the Chief Minister of Balochistan. And thereafter, the big issue was, of course, Murray tribe. As you're aware of the fact, Mr. Habayar, as we speak, is in London, and there was a case against him on gun running. Under the instruction of the President, I met him in London. I had 3 consecutive meetings with him, and I examined his matter personally with the help of the local lawyer, and I came to the conclusion that it was not a case fit for trial, and accordingly I came back. And Mr. Chairman, you were the Minister of Law at that point of time. I came to you. I discussed this matter, you very kindly agreed with me, and then we decided to send the Attorney General of Pakistan to London. And we not only hired a lawyer, but the lawyers of Mr. Habayar, we decided to contest his case in London. And accordingly, Mr. Habayar said that I can be benefited if all the cases against him in Pakistan withdrawn, and only then I can get a relief here because the charges of sedition, terrorism, and if a green check is given by the government of Pakistan, obviously I'll be benefited. Fine, I came back and I had discussion with the Chief Minister. We withdrew all the cases against him except one case where somebody, a third party, was involved, and we also convinced them, and today there is no case against Mr. Habayar, and based on that effort, the case against Mr. Habayar in London was closed. Then I was asked by the President to meet the other family members. I met Mr. Rehman Malik, and I saw his issue also, because the then government under General Musharraf had asked his extradition from UAE. I met the concerned authorities there, and they had certain documentation to be done, which was done in less than 48 hours. I had his passport back to him, and he's a free man to come to Pakistan. All cases against him were also finished. And similarly, I met the Bukti tribe, and almost every son of Mr. Akbar Bukti, I am in touch. And we are working out a formula where this dispute should get resolved. Obviously, all these efforts had not come to the light till today, but I am bringing all those efforts for the kind information of my colleagues, Mr. Chairman, so that they must know what we have been doing in this regard. Under again the instruction of my leadership, I made at least 5 trips to Balochistan. I met all those who mattered, and most of my colleagues are witness to it. Mr. Hassan Panjo was also present in one meeting. My dear friend Mr. Mandokhil was present. Mr. Malik was present. I'm really grateful for the guidance they have been giving to me. Even yesterday, the guidance which was given to me by one of my honorable colleague, it is being implemented, inshallah, but I'll come later on in the issues. Then we come to the grievances. Everybody in Balochistan demanded, I repeat, demanded their share in their resources. And the President of Pakistan, in his 4 to 5 meetings which he held with the senior leadership, we agreed with their demands. We say with full conviction, yes, there are grievances, and they have genuine grievances, and we are there to resolve and solve them according to the wishes of the Balochi and Pushtun brothers and sisters in Balochistan. And accordingly, another meeting was held. This was a major issue. Then they said, we have a problem with Frontier Corps. There are 36 checkposts within Balochistan, and we are Pakistani. Why should there be interception? Why should be there checking? And my colleagues from Balochistan are witness to it. In less than 24 hours, I had those all checkposts removed. I called the Frontier Corps General, Mr. Salim, and the President of the Chief Minister. I told him, henceforth, you are reporting to the Chief Minister. You don't have to tell me. First get the instruction from him and just inform me. And thereafter, today, Frontier Corps is working under the subordination of the police. Whenever they requisition, they are supposed to take those orders, and I'm ensuring, at least for the last 4 weeks, I am following those instructions, I'm following those cases, and even my last visit, just about 2 weeks back, again I held a meeting with the Chief Minister and other officers, and this is being continued. Mr. Chairman, the Prime Minister is taking personal interest in the affairs of Balochistan, and I don't remember a single week when he has not held meeting with our Balochi brothers, other than even who are the elected representatives. We believe there are certain parties which have not been able to come to the parliament, but we have equal respect for them, and therefore we are interacting with them on weekly basis. And on the request of the Chief Minister Balochistan, the Prime Minister was gracious enough to condone 17.5 billion rupees of loan which was on the Balochistan government. And similarly, overdraft. I mean, it was overdraft is a loan. We say in Mr. Sagdar's language, yes, but I am a non-economical person. Forgive me for using the wrong terminology, sir.